The following is a paid presentation by Brain Research Labs.
Hello, my name is Alan Pratt, and you're watching The Longevity Report, the show where I bring you the world's top experts to sort out fact from fiction about growing older. Today's topic, memory loss. Are you becoming more forgetful? Do you feel like you've lost that mental quickness and focus you had when you were younger? If you or your doctor think that memory loss and being mentally slower is just a normal and natural part of growing old, and that you've been told that there's nothing you can do about it, you'd better stop whatever you're doing right now and give me your undivided attention. So, why does a healthy mind become slower and less agile with each passing birthday? Is it just a sign of growing older, or is there something more serious at work? And finally, are there any new developments in the field of brain science that offer hope? You'll also learn that for many, it's possible to regain the youthful brain power of people up to 15 years younger. So with that, let's meet our panel. Dr. Stephen Coles is co-founder and executive director of the Gerontology Research Group. He's an internationally recognized researcher and has taught at Stanford and the University of California, Berkeley. He currently teaches a course at UCLA Medical School called Brain Behavior and Consciousness, which explores the latest in healthy brain aging and reversing mental decline. Dr. Coles is also an author and one of the world's leading authorities on supercentenarians, people who live well past the young age of 110. Now, today we're going to hear about not just living to 110, but staying mentally sharp and alert along the way.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
It's good to have you here. Our next guest is Dr. Paul Nemiroff. He's an internationally recognized head and neck surgeon, PhD psychologist, a lecturer and researcher. Also, former clinical professor at Vanderbilt and former candidate for the position of U.S. Surgeon General. It's truly a great honor and pleasure to have you here today, Doctor.
Thank you, Alan. The pleasure's all mine.
And finally, I would also like to introduce America's pharmacist, Dr. Eugene Steiner, perhaps better known as Dr. Gene, the familiar voice on a popular nationally syndicated health talk radio show. As a doctor of pharmacy, Dr. Gene's been a practicing pharmacist for 45 years. He's taught at the USC School of Pharmacy and was named Pharmacist of the Year.
Thank you, Alan.
Once again, it's great to have all of you here. All right, gentlemen, let's get right into this. Memory loss and mental decline are truly on the minds of millions of people, and it seems to be all over the news and on the covers of magazines everywhere. But really, how big is this problem? Are we making too much of it?
No, Alan, we're not. According to a MetLife Harris survey, older Americans are now more concerned about losing their cognitive abilities than they are about getting cancer, heart disease, or even having a stroke.
And for good reason, too. Another blockbuster study published in the Journal of Public Health surprised the world when it revealed the shocking news that the United States, listen to this, ranks #1 worldwide in premature mental decline.
My gosh, that is shocking. Well, all right, so the question becomes, faced with this growing epidemic, what's to be done about it? It's serious.
Well, America's brain research scientists are not sitting idly by. Just this year, the U.S. government has launched a 10-year, $110 million scientific research initiative.
Okay, so the Brain Research Initiative may offer real hope for those experiencing perhaps the all-too-frequent senior moments, right?
Well, sort of. It's a decade-long effort that will investigate different aspects of premature mental decline, and that's the good news.
Wait a second, there's bad news?
Alan, I'm 75 years young now, so older adults like me can't wait 10 years for a fix. They don't have the time, and they can see the writing on the wall.
Okay, I get it. Makes sense.
What's most frightening to older adults is the threat of losing what's left of their independence. Chronic forgetfulness or the inability to be in the moment mentally can jeopardize a career, a friendship, or even someone's ability to manage financial matters.
Many seniors become prisoners in their own home as a result of not addressing the needs of their aging brain.
And that would explain certainly why seniors feel so strongly about it.
That's right.
Look, I appreciate the government's intentions. Over time, their initiative will hopefully help unravel the mysteries of the mind. But the reality is, millions need help right now, today.
But memory loss and premature mental decline is a natural, expected, and untreatable part of growing older. I mean, isn't that statement true, Dr. Coles?
No, it's not. It's false.
Dr. Gene, I mean, just like wrinkles and graying hair, memory loss is a natural part of growing older. True or false?
Listen, I know from personal and professional experience that that statement is absolutely false.
Alan, I'm with them. I say false. Nothing could be further from the truth. You know, symptoms of premature mental decline like forgetfulness, mental confusion, foggy thinking, mental fatigue, and age-related memory loss may not be signs of growing old, but rather the symptoms of three main problems. One, that your brain is running low on fuel. Two, that it needs more oxygen, like as if it's gasping for air. And three, it can be clogged up with neurotoxins and other bad stuff. That's the technical term, brain sludge, if you will.
Before we dig any deeper, we want to take a quick break. And when we return, you can weigh in on Dr. Nemiroff's comments and assertion that the reason I lose my car keys so often may have less to do with my age, but more to do with those three causes of mental decline. And we're also going to talk about a revolutionary compound that may have beat the government's multi-million-dollar brain project to the punch for age-associated memory loss. A clinically tested, prescription-free memory breakthrough that you don't have to wait 10 years for. We'll be right back.
Aging Americans now fear memory loss even more than cancer, and for good reason. Mental decline can rob you of the joys of retirement, threatening your independence, your ability to drive, and the freedom to live in your own home. Now for some good news. The U.S. government has enlisted millions of dollars in the world's top scientists to study the brain and learn how to solve memory loss. Sadly, the project will take 10 years to finish. But why suffer another 10 years with a fuzzy, foggy, forgetful mind when you don't have to?
I'm Dr. Gene Steiner. As a pharmacist, I've always felt helpless in recommending a solution for memory loss.
Research reveals by age 50, most people have lost up to 50% of their brain power.
Now, there's a safe and natural solution. It's called Procera AVH.
In a landmark clinical study, Procera users reported increased memory, mood, and mental clarity in only 30 days.
Procera is safe, effective,
and taken daily as directed, it can restore the memory recall speed of folks 10 to 15 years younger.
Procera AVH contains 3 natural memory molecules clinically shown to help revitalize tired, sluggish brain cells with fresh supplies of oxygen, key vital nutrients, and much-needed neurotransmitters to help refuel your brain. It's like a breath of fresh air for your brain. Just like prescription glasses sharpen blurry vision, Procera AVH can help your brain be more clear and focused. So, is Procera AVH really the fountain of youth for aging brains?
I really feel that I'm functioning the way I was 20 years ago. There's no question about that.
I'd say I've got more of my edge back than I've had in a decade.
I felt like I almost reversed the aging process when I started taking Procera, because all of a sudden I was back to my same sharp memory.
Because I've experienced firsthand that you can affect your mind and how you think in a short period of time.
And I felt solid, and I felt bright and alive and energetic and clear and focused.
What can be safer than souping up your brain, making your brain work?
Call now and find out how you can get a free bonus supply of America's #1 selling memory pill, Procera AVH. Boost your memory and focus risk-free today. And you'll also get a free copy of the medically acclaimed book, 2020 Brain Power, plus a free copy of the popular 4 Pillars of Brain Health at-home program. And if you're one of the first 500 callers, you'll receive a free supply of the Brain Detox Formula Seraplex. It's the safe and natural way to help combat the harmful effects of environmental toxins in your air, food, and water, while helping to supercharge your memory and focus even more. Remember, mental decline is not your fault, and there's no risk. So why continue to suffer? So call now to claim your free bonus supply of Procera AVH. Your complete satisfaction is guaranteed, so call now.
Get started with Procera AVH today, the new natural remedy for your memory.
Now, before the break, we heard that for many people, the symptoms of premature mental decline may have less to do with just growing older, but more to do with 3 main causes or problems. What do you think, Dr. Coles?
Well, that's right, Alan. I was going to say that after 40 or 50 years of living, your body can start to run low on certain nutrients and hormones that power its systems. This running on empty phenomenon happens throughout the body, but more so in the brain. Scientific research has identified a few select nutrients like those found in the clinically tested formula Procera AVH. These clinically tested nutrients may help an aging brain perform like a more youthful brain, sharper and more clear.
Now, is this the same patented formula that works in as little as 30 days?
That's right. As we get older, Alan, The 60,000 miles, think of that, 60,000 miles of blood vessels in the body can begin to work less efficiently, restricting the blood flow from head to toe. And for the brain, what does this mean? This can mean reduced oxygen, reduced nutrient flow, like a leg that falls asleep. Brain cells need adequate oxygen and nourishment to function properly.
Okay.
So as you can see here in the illustration, just one of the ingredients in Procera formula lights up the brain by helping to increase blood flow and circulation, giving a forgetful, a foggy brain, a real healthy boost of mind-clearing oxygen and vital nutrients.
But Dr. Gene, a forgetful mind needs more than that. A healthy brain has to communicate properly, in a sense, to talk to itself.
Hold on a second, Dr. Nemiroff. Now, when I do that, I can get some pretty strange looks, talking to myself.
Well, I bet you do, but not quite the same thing, Alan. For that to happen, a healthy brain needs an adequate supply of neurotransmitters, those chemical messengers that connect and link different areas of the brain. They help us to remember to call the kids on Saturday afternoon, walk the dog at 4 p.m., and take out the meatloaf out of the oven in 20 minutes.
Okay, so that explains why I walked the kids and gave the meatloaf to the dog. I guess I'm low on neurotransmitters.
Well, maybe. But neurotransmitters are the bedrock for healthy memory, concentration, and mental clarity. And as a side benefit, they help you feel happier and have a better outlook when your brain is brimming with neurotransmitters.
Oh, that's right, Dr. Nemiroff. Well, not having enough oxygen and neurotransmitters can worsen your mental abilities. Long-term exposure to environmental pollutants and toxins, like heavy metals, can also have detrimental effects from the resulting free radicals. I've heard them referred to as bullies of the body, but the brain-specific antioxidants in Procera AVH can actually help neutralize the damaging free radicals, so you can think faster and remember more.
So we now know how Procera AVH works in the brain, and I know that each of you are in professions where certainly a sharp mind and lightning-fast memory are indispensable. So have you personally tried Procera AVH for yourself, Dr. Coles?
Certainly. As a university professor, I need to be able to recall information quickly and confidently. Whether it's a response to a student's question or a reporter's comment on national television, it wasn't too long ago that I suspected my speed of recall may be slowing down. So I searched for the best natural solution, and I found Procera AVH.
You know, Alan, my story is very similar. A few years back, I was working a crazy schedule, 80 to 100 hours a week, doing surgeries, family challenges, was a medical director at a large medical center. I found myself mentally exhausted, when in the past I was able to handle this type of schedule. And I kept saying, what is going on with my brain? Was I losing my mental edge? I was really concerned. So like Dr. Coles, I also began researching and ran across an interesting medical journal article about a drug-free compound called Procera AVH. It was backed by real science, which is very important to all of us here. And what stood out for me was that it was a randomized, placebo-controlled clinical study, and Procera AVH was found to increase memory to the levels of people as much as 15 years younger. So I decided to try it. And frankly, I was amazed at how my brain reacted within the first few weeks of trying Procera. I noticed my mental clarity was better and that my focus was much sharper, like a razor's edge. I felt I had my mental edge back. It was really that dramatic.
It's impressive. And finally, Dr. Gene, please tell us about your experience.
As a pharmacist for over 40 years, there's no telling how many customers have asked me if I had something for poor memory. Unfortunately, until I found Procera AVH, there was nothing I could recommend with confidence, but I wanted to try it for myself first. And I can tell you without any type of reservation that my memory became crystal clear. I had such marvelous results that I not only recommended Procera to customers, I even told other pharmacists and physicians about it. And I often use this analogy. Procera does for my brain what prescription eyeglasses do for my eyes. It really sharpens my memory and makes me more focused and clearer.
Thank you, Dr. Gene. Okay, so far we've learned about the 3 main causes of age-related mental decline and 3 ways Procera works to combat them. What we want to hear about next is the secret sauce. What's actually in Procera AVH? But first, let's give our audience a chance to learn how you can try Procera AVH for yourself risk-free. When we come back, we'll pick up where we left off. We'll hear more about the landmark clinical study. We'll be right back.
I think it's a great product, and I think once people just try it for the first week, they will be sold on it like I was. It's fabulous.
I believe Procera really keeps you sharp. I think it keeps you focused. It just gives you an ability to think more clearly
and focused and able to process things at a much increased speed than before I took the pills.
Call now and find out how you can get a free bonus supply of America's #1 selling memory pill, Procera AVH. Boost your memory and focus risk-free today. And you'll also get a free copy of the medically acclaimed book, 20/20 Brain Power. Plus, a free copy of the popular 4 Pillars of Brain Health at-home program. And if you're one of the first 500 callers, you'll receive a free supply of the Brain Detox Formula Seraplex. It's the safe and natural way to help combat the harmful effects of environmental toxins in your air, food, and water, while helping to supercharge your memory and focus even more. Remember, mental decline is not your fault, and there's no risk. So why continue to suffer? So call now to claim your free bonus supply of Procera AVH. Your complete satisfaction is guaranteed, so call now.
Get started with Procera AVH today, the new natural remedy for your memory.
Folks, welcome back to the Longevity Report. I have with me today 3 top heavyweights in the field of brain health and longevity. Dr. Stephen Coles, Dr. Paul Nemiroff, and Dr. Gene Steiner. Welcome back, gentlemen. So, Dr. Nemiroff, tell us the history behind Procera AVH.
Of course, Alan. By measuring the brain speed of more than 1.5 million people, the researchers at Brain Research Labs discovered that our brains are now giving out before our bodies, and that by age 50, on average, people lose up to 1/2 of their brain power. That's 50 by 50.
Unbelievable.
They then set out to find whether there might be a simple, natural solution to slow down, if not stop, this memory decline. They evaluated hundreds of brain nutrients and then conducted studies on the effects of the top half dozen or more on thousands of people. This process revealed what may be the top 3 brain nutrients in nature, and no single ingredient seemed to adequately address the 3 primary needs of the aging brain. These 3 ingredients, when combined in a precise amount and ratio, had an amazing synergistic effect. Now, those 3 brain nutrients are what's behind AVH and Procera AVH. And I might add, the U.S. government found the formula to be so unique that it was granted a U.S. patent.
So what's exactly in this patented formula?
Well, again, the AVH sort of gives it away. First, A is for acetylcarnitine. This may actually be the reason we call fish brain food. Acetylcarnitine is a true brain energy nutrient and a potent antioxidant, as well as an immune booster that was shown to help slow down brain aging.
Okay.
You would have to eat 20 or more servings of fish, that's a lot of fish per day, just to get the amount of acetylcarnitine that you can get from just 1 daily serving of Procera AVH.
And I love fish, but there's a limit, I guess, right? And the V, how about the V?
Next comes vinpocetine, the V, derived from the beautiful periwinkle flower, among other sources. In Europe, it's been called the immortality flower for its power to rejuvenate a tired, sluggish brain. How? It helps reoxygenate the brain. And finally, the 3rd ingredient in this remarkable triple action formula, the H, is a rare plant that grows at high altitudes in Asia called huperzine A. Revered for centuries in Asia as a memory tonic, this little miracle extract today is worth over $15,000 per ounce.
Hold on, Dr. Nemiroff. What you just said would make just 1 ingredient alone worth many times more than gold. Really?
Yes, that's right, Alan. And it's even more valuable for your brain because it helps restore those age-depleted neurotransmitters, which help boost your powers of concentration and memory. And what's that worth to you?
So, gentlemen, how long does it take Procera AVH to work?
That's a great question. It's actually going to vary by individual, but remember the clinical trial results for Procera AVH were achieved in just 30 days. So with Procera, you may feel more alert, more mentally energized, and more self-confident with better memory in just a few weeks.
Right. You know, Alan, can you imagine experiencing the memory recall of people that are 10 to 15 years younger in just 30 days?
I should also mention that in the same clinical study, Procera was even shown to improve mood and a sense of well-being.
Uh-oh. Guys, Procera has just given the world a reason to never again forget our wives' birthdays and anniversaries. Let's give our audience a chance to learn how you can try Procera AVH for yourself risk-free.
I'm much better at what I do today than I ever have been.
The memory's just flowing. It's just unblocked.
I really feel that I'm functioning the way I was 20 years ago. There's no question about that.
What can be safer than souping up your brain, making your brain work?
Call now and find out how you can get a free bonus supply of America's #1 selling memory pill, Procera AVH. Boost your memory and focus risk-free today. And you'll also get a free copy of the medically acclaimed book, 20/20 Brain Power, plus a free copy of the popular 4 Pillars of Brain Health at-home program. And if you're one of the first 500 callers, you'll receive a free supply of the Brain Detox Formula Seraplex. It's the safe and natural way to help combat the harmful effects of environmental toxins in your air, food, and water, while helping to supercharge your memory and focus even more. Remember, mental decline is not your fault, and there's no risk. So why continue to suffer? So call now to claim your free bonus supply of Procera AVH. Your complete satisfaction is guaranteed, so call now.
Get started with Procera AVH today, the new natural remedy for your memory.
Welcome back. You're watching the Longevity Report. The topic today is memory loss. So far today, we've learned that age-related memory problems and premature mental decline may not be a life sentence. Bouts of mild confusion and brain fog, an inability to stay focused and concentrate, or increasing episodes of forgetfulness may be nothing more than your brain telling you that it's running on empty. So, why do leading experts and doctors recommend Procera AVH? Well, let's ask them. Dr. Nemiroff.
Well, first of all, because it works, Alan, and it works for me. But here's another reason why I recommend Procera. The Procera AVH formula was submitted to a full university clinical study and passed with flying colors. By the way, it's the same rigorous clinical testing protocols and measurements, double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled, used by prescription-sold pharmaceutical drugs. Finally, the world has a real memory pill that actually does what it says it does. It works.
And Dr. Coles, what makes Procera attractive to you?
First, it has a United States patent, which is a very rare thing for a nutritional supplement. The clinical trials were published in a peer-reviewed U.S. medical journal called JAMA.
Okay, and Dr. Jean, I know you love science, and docs love research and studies, and Procera has just that. But tell me about your experience recommending Procera.
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. We all do love science. In fact, the product was first validated in a real gold standard clinical trial. But equally as important is that my customers, and this is important, were satisfied and had great results that they wanted to share with me. It quickly became the #1 selling brain supplement in my pharmacy.
So what were your customers experiencing with Procera? What feedback were they giving you?
Well, they often came to me to tell me that they felt an increase in confidence with Procera, more confident in their ability to remember an important anniversary or birthday date so their wife wouldn't be mad at them, shopping list items, names of friends and family members like their grandkids. It made a real difference. In fact, I have my own story.
Would you mind sharing it?
When I turned 73, I moved from California to Arizona, where I was required to take the State Pharmacy Board qualification exam. I was a bit nervous, as you can well imagine. Many years had gone by, and I was required to do quite a bit of technical reading and learning in a very short period of time. Procera helped me immensely. The recall I experienced was crystal clear. The 3-hour exam would typically be so exhausting, but instead I was able to remember facts and other information that allowed me to pass the exam.
Thank you, Dr. Jean. And finally, doctors trust Procera because it has withstood the greatest test of all, scrutiny from America's customers. In the last few years that it's been available, Procera has become America's #1 selling memory supplement, an accomplishment that speaks to its effectiveness and its safety. So, if you're experiencing increased forgetfulness, or either you or the people around you have noticed a decline in your mental sharpness, or perhaps there's an increase in brain fog or ability to focus, know that it's not your fault. And you may not be doomed to a lifetime of worry, mental uncertainty, and fear. Fear that your mental decline may broadcast signals to those around you that you should no longer live independently. Fear that you may lose control of your checkbook or your driver's license. However, we've learned today that there are things you can do, like taking Procera AVH to help enhance your memory, your focus, your concentration, to help you improve your ability to learn and recall information faster, to help sharpen your thinking and your mental quickness, to help boost your alertness and your mental vigor, to help elevate your mood and self-confidence, and to help reduce your mental confusion. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your opportunity to try Procera AVH risk-free. Experience what everyone is talking about. Trusted by doctors, trusted by the United States Patent Office, and hundreds of thousands of people like yourself who have used it to help them stay mentally sharp and alert. I'd like to thank our doctors for joining me today, Dr. Nemiroff, Dr. Steiner, and Dr. Coles. And thanks to you for watching this special memory edition of the Longevity Report. We'll see you next time.
Aging Americans now fear memory loss even more than cancer, and for good reason. Mental decline can rob you of the joys of retirement, threatening your independence, your ability to drive, and the freedom to live in your own home. Now for some good news. The U.S. government has enlisted millions of dollars in the world's top scientists to study the brain and learn how to solve memory loss. Sadly, the project will take 10 years to finish. But why suffer another 10 years with a fuzzy, foggy, forgetful mind when you don't have to?
I'm Dr. Gene Steiner. As a pharmacist, I've always felt helpless in recommending a solution for memory loss.
Research reveals by age 50, most people have lost up to 50% of their brain power.
Now, there's a safe and natural solution. It's called Procera AVH.
In a landmark clinical study, Procera users reported increased memory, mood, and mental clarity in only 30 days.
Procera is safe, effective,
and taken daily as directed, it can restore the memory recall speed of folks 10 to 15 years younger.
Procera AVH contains 3 natural memory molecules clinically shown to help revitalize tired, sluggish brain cells with fresh supplies of oxygen, key vital nutrients, and much-needed neurotransmitters to help refuel your brain. It's like a breath of fresh air for your brain. Just like prescription glasses sharpen blurry vision, Procera AVH can help your brain be more clear and focused. So, is Procera AVH really the fountain of youth for aging brains?
I really feel that I'm functioning the way I was 20 years ago. There's no question about that.
I'd say I've got more of my edge back than I've had in a decade.
I felt like I almost reversed the aging process when I started taking Procera, because all of a sudden I was back to my same sharp memory.
Because I've experienced firsthand that you can affect your mind and how you think in a short period of time.
And I felt solid, and I felt bright and alive and energetic and clear and focused.
What can be safer than souping up your brain, making your brain work?
Call now and find out how you can get a free bonus supply of America's #1 selling memory pill, Procera AVH. Boost your memory and focus risk-free today. And you'll also get a free copy of the medically acclaimed book, 20/20 Brain Power. Plus, a free copy of the popular 4 Pillars of Brain Health at-home program. And if you're one of the first 500 callers, you'll receive a free supply of the Brain Detox Formula Seraplex. It's the safe and natural way to help combat the harmful effects of environmental toxins in your air, food, and water, while helping to supercharge your memory and focus even more. Remember, mental decline is not your fault, and there's no risk. So why continue to suffer? So call now to claim your free bonus supply of Procera AVH. Your complete satisfaction is guaranteed, so call now.
Get started with Procera AVH today, the new natural remedy for your memory.
This has been a paid presentation by the makers of Procera AVH.